is Thursday, May 27th, 2021 a.m. No, 2021, 8:35 a.m. I don't have much of a dream to talk about, but I was about to just get up. I was gonna lie in bed and start looking at my phone, but I decided not even gonna look at my messages. It's gonna get right up, because I'm sure one of these Instagram memes says, just get up, get right out of bed. Oh no, my plant has fallen over. That's the one my mom said to hang the bird feeder on. Oh, and it's ripped open. I'll bet a squirrel ripped it open to get the seeds. That was a bad idea. I should have hung it up there. He just ripped it apart. Wow. Okay. Here you can see the bird feeder was just. He took the lid off, and now there's seeds everywhere. So yeah, you can't feed birds that way. That kind of sums up my life. I didn't get enough sleep. I went to bed around 11:30 after doing probably a pretty long live stream, like at least half an hour or something, which was stupid. I should have just gone to bed. Anyways, and then my CPAP said it was on for 8 hours, 50 minutes. But I put on a 50-minute Ben Shapiro show right when I went to bed, so, I don't think I got 8 hours sleep, because I was always awake trying to figure out why the air was leaking from my CPAP machine. And it was the tape that wasn't, because the tube's broken, and the tape was leaking, that I tape it shut with. Anyways, I feel like Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. And then for a neighbor, and now I put on my robe. Okay, so this is all I remember of my rapidly fading dream. Where was I? I remember I was, okay, wait, no, I was in where was I? Some kind of gym. And it was like a different gym than the gym I was in a few minutes ago, but it was the same layout, this long, narrow room you can go into. It's like an F50 gym or something. And a guy was working out in it. There was glass wall. And then he was just doing, what was he doing? He had a spinning weight sort of zooming back and forth on the floor that was timing his push-ups or something. And I'm like, I need to get out of the way of this. So I started doing some push-ups in the corner. Like the floor was dipping, and I was doing push-ups just near the dip. And then like a train was coming, or a homeless guy came in. The guy's like, no, you got to catch your bus now. The other bus isn't coming later. This is the arts bus, not the. And the homeless guy's getting on the bus that's coming through basically the hallway of the building. And the driver's like, are you here for arts or business? And he's like, arts. And, okay, get on. I don't know what that meant. And then I'm walking down, and then I don't know. Did I see this guy Ian that I used to work with? No, and then I saw my mom, and I said, Mom, I don't know why my mom was there. I don't know. I just remember, skip ahead, and I'm like going down the sidewalk with Ian, and we stopped at like a big giant pile of snow, and I'm like, here, I want to run up this, and I run up the hill, and I'm like, am I too old to do this? But no, look at me, I'm like a kid just running up a hill of snow. And I said to Ian that somebody told me that you're not supposed to eat bacon or something. He's like, oh no. I walked past somebody in the street, and he was saying, and that's why on the bird, like if it tastes medium and crispy, that's the taste of grief. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the chemical reaction to grief that a bird feels while it's dying, or somebody's killing another bird or something. And then Ian's like, I never believed that stuff, because I told him what I just heard, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I land on the bottom of the hill. I'm like, wow, I'm so young, I'm a kid. And I'm like, where'd Ian go? So I run up, and I'm running down the street. I'm like, I don't see him. And then I come into this little, and I pass a guy reading like a book, and he's like, Palestine, we must destroy Israel. And I'm like, I just decide I'm not going to engage. I just look forward. The guy's like, looks over. He's like, because I'm not taking his page that he's hanging out. He's handing out individual pages for a book. He's like, oh, yep. I'm like, there's no point in fighting with him. And then I get to this little restaurant with just a couple of tables, and then I see this. No, wait. Before that, I think I was walking into like a Walmart or something, and I ran into like the guy that played Steve Urkel on the sitcom, and he's like, "Hey," and then I walk in with my mom, and then Urkel's already with my mom. I'm like, "This is Urkel," and she's like, "I know. I painted him in an art class." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, and then some other woman says, "Ah, see, it's the artistic connections," and then through the Walmart, I find a little restaurant, and then Ian's sitting there with another black guy that I was like, "Oh wait, I just saw this guy's picture. I was supposed to tell you, or didn't you just ask me where Ian was?" And but he's already somehow found Ian, and Ian's. I go around the table and that's Ian's face facing me. He's like, "Oh, hello." Ian was always kind of not nice to me, but then now he's in my dreams for some reason. Uh, and then I looked over and somebody's trying to put a needle into like a shot glass, like of whiskey, and then uh, and then Ian, the guy sitting beside Ian, with like he had little glasses with little metal thing like hinges, and he's like, "Here, do you want a sip of my like rum and coke kind of thing?" I'm like, "No," and I take it, and I'm like, the straw is just, you know how bubbles just make straws go flying out of a drink, and then the straw goes flying into the guy's shot glass where he's putting his needle in for some reason. Everybody's like, "Oh no," and then the girl sitting in front of me, right beside me, is like, "Hello, I guess I'll be your relative of the day," because I'd seen a relative. Oh, that's right, I walked past Glenna, my relative, earlier, but I was like, I don't know what to talk to her about, so I just kept walking. Sometimes you don't want to talk to somebody, so you're just like, I'll just keep walking. And then, but Alana uh, was there, and I'm like, oh my God, that is my relative. She looked familiar, and she's like, how's it going? I'm like, great. And I think around then is when I sort of woke up. Um, yeah, so that's it. I just asked the weather what the weather is, and it says it's 10 degrees right now. It's going to go up to 15 Celsius, so pretty chilly. But as you can see, it's kind of sunny. And my lens is kind of dirty. Oh no. Is that better now? Maybe it's just my eyes that are not good. Um, Anyways, that's it. I'll try to go for a jog right now and just start the day like that, and then I guess I'll make sure I tape the CPAP machine so it doesn't leak air anymore. All right, good morning.